So if you guys are really wanting to grow your Instagram profile and use it to market your business or become a content creator, before I give any of my content strategies, tips, and tricks, we have to really prepare and make sure that your Instagram profile is ready for followers. Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Amber Romero and I am the owner of A Creative Co. I am a content and social media strategist and I am here to help you perfect your Instagram profile. So since there are so many components of a perfect Instagram profile, let's go ahead and dive right in. So starting at the very top, we need to talk about your Instagram profile photo. Now there's always controversy. Do I use my logo? Do I use a headshot? My general rule of thumb is that if you are a personal brand, a content creator, or want to have some kind of personal connection with your audience, you need a headshot of yourself. Now, when you would want to use a logo is if you have more of a professional brand and there are multiple people within that brand. You can still show those multiple people's faces throughout your Instagram feed, but therefore you would want something that is synonymous with your brand to be your profile image. I'll give you a couple examples here. When I was running my social media agency, I wanted my focus to be on A Creative Co. I had team members, and I still do, but I was serving a client under that brand name. So I used my brand logo. Now, as I've shifted away from agency and more into a personal brand, I actually prefer to have my face up there to relate more to my audience. The same can be seen for people like Kim Kardashian. I'm just going to use that name because a lot of people will instantly recognize her. For her personal Instagram account, she has images of herself, but for her brand Skims, she's going to use a Skims logo or something that is representative of that brand. So kind of think of it in those two different ways, but there's no right or wrong answer. That is just the preference that I give to people. So now we need to move into your handle versus your Instagram name. So yes, your handle is going to be something that is easily people can recognize and remember. So unfortunately for me, I have A_Creative Co. I really just want A Creative Co, but somebody has it and refuses to give it up. So you're going to want something that people can easily remember. Even though I have A_Creative Co, if you type in A Creative Co, it'll still pop up. But you're not going to want all these weird characters. You're not going to want to have a bunch of dashes and spaces, or you can't even have spaces, but you know, too many periods, too many numerals, anything like that. You're really going to want it to relate to who you are as either a person, a brand, or as a company, but keep it really easy for your followers and potential followers to remember. Now, here's the difference. When you go to fill in your profile information, you're going to have a name section, and most people often put their name there. I'm going to advise you differently because recently, over the last couple of years, Instagram has really changed how the bio reads. So the name in your Instagram bio is actually searchable, similar to how SEO and Google work, or you know how you similarly would look up something on YouTube. This is a searchable area that you're going to want to maximize. So for instance, I used to have something that just said Amber Romero. Now my name says social media content strategy. That is the epitome of who I am, what I do, and if somebody goes onto Instagram looking for content strategy, I could potentially pop up. If somebody goes looking for content tips, social media tips, I'm using very specific keywords to who I am, what I do as a business owner, and I'm using it and maximizing that. So what this could look like for you, let's say you are, I'm just going to use my location, you're a Tampa wedding photographer, and you are ABC Photography. So ABC Photography might be your handle, but you're not going to want to put that as your name. You're not going to want to also put your personal name. You're going to want to put something like Tampa elopement photographer, Tampa wedding photographer, Tampa portrait photographer, whatever that is. Because if somebody goes into Instagram and uses that search function, then they are going to be able to find you more easily. You have the potential to pop up in that search. Then moving into category. This is a little bit difficult because they don't have that many categories. Personally, I used to have something that said marketing and advertising, but they don't always have what you do, and it's a little bit more difficult to find. But start to scroll through and see what you might fit in as a business owner, as a content creator. I recently switched my category to entrepreneur for a couple of different reasons. I wanted to be all encompassing, and I don't necessarily, when I had it as marketing / advertising, I would have people reach out to me thinking that I did websites or that I did Facebook ads. And I'm like, all right, I need to remove this category because it's a little bit too broad. And instead I put entrepreneur because I not only serve clients, I also have digital products. I also speak. I'm also a content creator. And entrepreneur seemed a little bit more all encompassing and really kind of helped manage my DMs, and people didn't think I did everything in the marketing space. So really start to think about that. And one other little side tip, as of now, March 2022, if you have entrepreneur as your category, you are able to tap into Reels copywritten music, whereas if you have any other category, it typically doesn't work. You just have their royalty-free music, and I'm like, oh, that's boring. So that was also kind of why I traded it out. But start to think of things that you are going to want to be known for as a business owner, content creator, or as a brand. Moving into your bio. Bio character space is very, very limited, so you want to maximize this as much as possible. I could do a whole YouTube video just on this little bio space, but to give you a quick little rundown, you need to tell people who you are, what you do, who you do it for, and give them a call to action as quickly and succinctly as possible while also making it look pretty. So as you can see here, in the first line, this is actually where I tell people my name and kind of like my title. I wanted to use that actual namespace to maximize my SEO on Instagram. So I will tell people who I am and what I do. Now, these next two lines, they actually change fairly frequently for me. I try and update them at least once a month, sometimes even twice a month, depending upon what I'm promoting in my business. So I will tell people what services I might have available, if I have openings for X, Y, and Z, or if something's about to launch. But it's also a good way for people to understand where I'm at in my business. If I'm currently accepting speaking events, I will say, hey, I'm a public speaker available in August of 2022 for new bookings. So I'm telling people who I'm here to serve, what I'm here to do. And in that last line there, I'm giving them a call to action that will drive them to my link in bio. That call to action actually changes the most frequently throughout the year, throughout the months, throughout the days. It depends on what I'm promoting for my business. And more often than not, I'm pointing them to a product or a freebie or something like that. But giving them a direct, hey, click below to get X, Y, and Z for X price or for free will give people an incentive to click that link in bio. Now, moving into that link in bio, you need to maximize this as much as possible. And there are two different ways to do this. Number one, vast majority of the time, I actually do use a link. It's literally called link in bio by later. I use that feature to really give people a full view of all the available options I have for them. It shows all of my different social links that they can click on. I give a couple of buttons for things that I really want to drive people to, mostly my products or accessing my website. And then below that, if I have a post that goes to a specific hyperlink, they can also access that below. If I'm driving them to a very specific YouTube video or a specific blog post, they are able to access that as well. Now, where this changes, and this is such a great strategy, if you are in the midst of a launch or promoting something directly for a certain time span, you're going to want to remove that link in bio or that link tree. A lot of people are familiar with Linktree, and give people a direct link to a sales page or a landing page. So for instance, when I'm in launch mode, typically I'll do like an 8-day campaign to promote a new product. I'm going to link directly to the product because I want to direct as many sales as possible without confusing people, because a confused mind says no. So those are the two options that you have. Again, you can update your profile in your bio as frequently as you want, but that's just the approach that I take for myself and what I used to do for my clients. And to then tackle the next big thing on your profile, highlights. That's what comes next, your Instagram story highlights. These need to be updated as frequently as you can, and they need to be maximized as much as possible. There are two approaches that you can take here that I have done for both myself and for my clients. Number one, this is more of a strategic approach and not a personal approach. using your Instagram story highlights as almost a mini website, really driving traffic to certain components that you really want to drive people towards. So what this is going to look like, each highlight might represent a different page on your website and giving people more information. So there might be an about me, there might be a services, there might be a pricing, there might be a blog. You can drive people that way. That's not going to require as much updating, but it gives people, when they land on your profile, a chance to get to know you a little bit more, get to see who you are, what you're about, and they can kind of binge that content. And, you know, those stories are saved for however long you want them to be saved. That's approach number one. Approach number two is going to be more personal, and it's really going to start to drive your audience to like, know, and trust you a bit more. And this is the approach that I like to take for my personal brand, is updating the highlights as frequently as possible and really giving people bingeable content. Think of like a Netflix series that you want to continue watching episode after episode after episode. So I'll give them tips and tricks, a specific highlight for my Canva tips, a specific highlight for Instagram news. And these are going to change frequently because I'm always giving out new advice, or some advice becomes outdated. So this approach will take a little bit more time, but will build a little bit more reputation with your audience. And last but not least, the controversial what your feed looks like. So I always say, everybody's like, do you need to have a perfect feed? Do you need to have a perfect grid? No, you don't. Instagram isn't about that anymore. We are starting to steer away from perfection, but it does need to look cohesive. You don't want a million different brand colors. You don't want a million different styles of photo. But what you are going to want to show is diversity with cohesion. So if you take a look at my feed, you're going to see some of my posts are super heavy graphic based, and they are super professional, designed in Canva. And sometimes I just create stuff on Instagram. Sometimes it's selfies, and sometimes it's branded professional headshots, showing that diversity, but you can still see a cohesion through my colors and the way that things look. Sometimes I have makeup on and sometimes I don't. I really want to show my audience a breadth of content, but they're going to want to follow me because it looks good. It still looks cohesive. They know what they're always going to get from me. So I know we covered a lot in that video. And while updating your Instagram profile isn't going to get you a million bajillion followers right off the bat, what it is going to do is allow you, when you do have new people land on your profile and land on your page, they have the ability to get to know you in a quick snapshot and decide if they want to follow you or not, which can lead to higher conversions of viewers to followers, and those followers can eventually convert into buyers. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or you guys can send me a DM on Instagram. Give me a follow over on there. I am _creativeco, and I will see you guys next week.